Yoo-hoo. Surprise, surprise. I don't know if my mic's working, but we'll see. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let me know if my mic's working. Tell y'all where I am in a little bit. Start seeing folks just jump in out the clear blue. It's actually not so bad this morning. Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Awesome. How are you, Toga? Shoot. Dewana's live. She got off of it, and I'm like, well, might as well go live and hopefully our fellow legends will join in this morning, because I didn't set no notification for this or anything. Brian, I set this up thinking I would share this, especially hoping Wheelburner would jump in, because this is his favorite southern city. I'm gonna wait till he gets in, because I'm pretty sure he'll pop in. I got a long ways to ride today. I've already put about 200 miles down. But the city I'm in, it's not even considered a part of Georgia. Yeah, I'm in Georgia, but I'm not really close to home. Home is 240 miles south of here, but I gotta go west, young man. Haven't you been told? I know. I'm making song references. This community we're building is freaking awesome. I won't be on this live long enough today to show y'all me unloading again. Because I'm unloading at the same place I unloaded the other day when I went live. But these road signs, they'll kind of give away where I'm at to those that are here in the States. It's not really that bad of traffic because it's just after rush hour. A little bit of traffic getting on the bypass, but that's because there's a bunch of construction going on. You can see all the barrels on the left side of the screen there along the wall where there's all kind of stuff going on. I was just so excited. Yet, speaking of short naps and stuff, I was just so excited about that video I edited, and I screwed up the damn release time on it. Was wanted to release this evening, and by God, dog, if I didn't pay attention to all my settings. Can you say YouTube noob? YouTube noob. That's funny. YouTube noob. Newbie. You think after all these years of technology getting better and better and better, I could produce more quality content. But my content is as random as the thoughts in this noggin of mine. So I'm just making my way around the bypass here. Woo! Nah, fella, I don't need the hood of my truck. You would think I'm in New York or Jersey. Watch, is this other one gonna do it? Yep, they gonna do it. Objects on your screen are closer than they appear. By the way. Pictures tell 1,000 words, but they don't. Dang, I ain't even got 200 subscribers, and YouTube already trying to throttle me by my signal popping in and out. It's okay. This is why I stay in this second to the right lane. All that traffic coming on off these interchanges around this bypass. And watch, some of them will go straight out to the lanes in front of me. Watch this dump truck. Nope, he gonna stay there. He gonna mind his own business. He's gonna behave. Ooh. Not that black Mercedes that's just now passing, but watch that dump truck. He gonna cut right over in front. Nope, look at there. There's a brand new C8. Well, I wouldn't say brand new. They've been out a couple years now, but I don't know about y'all, but I kind of like the idea of those Corvette C8. The original creator and designer of the Corvette back in the 50s, his dream was to always build a mid-engine Corvette, and it finally came to fruition in a production model. Folks don't know this, but back in the late 80s, there was an actual concept that was built with a mid-engine, but it never went into production. I think it's sitting at the Corvette Museum in uh, Bowling Green, Kentucky. But yeah, I'm enjoying sharing all these pretty cool moments that are happening. If I don't say a whole lot these next few minutes is because I'm gonna be watching traffic, because I'm coming up on another major interchange here in a little bit, and I'll get to share with you, Toga, one of the busiest airports in the world. Well, parts of it. You won't be able to see the whole thing from the interstate, but I'll actually pass under a runway here shortly. We're running out of real estate. Too many people in one place. If I if I had been needing to be an outlaw, I'd have just shot straight through town and took my chances. Ooh, there's another C8 in a chameleon purple with the high wing spoiler option. You sure get your money's worth for those cars, though, really, with what they are. Even though it's a lot of damn money. But what ain't a lot of damn money anymore? Everything is outrageous. But it's a sure will and testament. It's a sure testament to the human will and human spirit and the human drive, especially with our community. Because some of us, most of us in our little community here, we try to bring out the best in each other, and sometimes the worst pops out every once in a while, and people have to play whack-a-troll. Now, you might see traffic passing me on the left and right, and there's a reason for it, because up here shortly you're going to see the control tower for the airport. Off in the distance, there's a jet getting ready to taxi out onto a runway. I might be able to move the camera to the right just a little bit. And through the trees there, yeah, there's the control tower. Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson International Airport is right there to my right, and it goes for about 3 or 4 miles alongside the bypass here. This Good morning, riding on Ruby. Appreciate you popping in for a minute. I'm on the bypass in Atlanta, heading west. Just figured I'd bring folks along for the ride. I was hoping Wheelburner would pop in because he loves Atlanta so much that I didn't want him to miss out on this experience with me this morning. I wanted to bring back fond, kind, you know, nostalgic memories for Wheelburner. But he can see it on the replay. Oh, does Sterling? Well, I didn't even realize he had one going. He won't be mad if I don't join. Everybody else is doing these driving lives. Gotta stay with the status quo. Now this bridge I'm going under right here. Not this one, but this one and this one. They're both actual runways that the jets taxi into and out of from the international airport. Good morning, Humberto. Welcome in. We are live from 285 on the loop around Atlanta. The next major intersection right up here is where Interstate 85 goes south off of 285, and people lose their minds even though there's 6 lanes to choose from. Of course, trucks can't be in the left lane. Yeah, there's been times I've been going under those bridges with jets landing, yeah, and taxiing into the airport or taxiing out to take off. Like I said, I don't know I don't know how Atlanta's rated to the airport here. I don't know how it's considered to be the busiest airport in the world. I mean, you got LAX, you got uh LaGuardia, not LaGuardia. Oh shit, New York. You got what is it? Narita in Japan, Tokyo. I just there's got to be larger cities that have more air traffic than Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, yeah, there's a pile of international flights that go in and out of here. But I don't understand why the Southeast is so popular. I mean, we just try to live right and do right down here. And I've just been weird. It's just been weird the last couple of weeks because I've actually stayed in the Southeast. I hadn't got out of Mississippi, Louisiana, or Tennessee, or Georgia, or North Carolina, or South Carolina this last couple of weeks. It's just been seems like I've been running in a big circle. Yeah, London Heathrow. That's one of the ones I was thinking about, Umberto. And I still ain't figured out something. Still ain't figured out nothing with this mount. I tried to adjust it to where the phone would sit on the dash a little bit better. Good morning, Robin. My schedule's been crazy lately. Been trying to keep you guys updated a little bit more about what's going on with me. Ain't been sleeping the best, so I've been keeping my mind busy, but still trying to keep up with everybody at the same time. And everybody, we got Mother's Day coming up Sunday, the 12th. So we wouldn't have fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles if it wasn't for mothers. And we all know that my mom's the best mom in the world. Of course, it's okay that your mom's the best mom in the world too. But not everybody had, nobody ever, not everybody had the best, but not everybody had the worst. Things are fixing to, let me see if I can adjust this thing and not kill myself in the process. Ah, I don't know how much more it's gonna vibrate, but maybe it'll stay still. Ooh, it's crooked. I'm not trying to show too much hood. Trying to follow Sterling's 80-20 rule when he's filming on a motorcycle. But I am literally doing the speed limit around the bypass here. And seems like every time no matter what lane I'm in, it's the lane that starts backing up. Even though it doesn't look like it on camera, that truck in front of me is only about 2 truck lengths. Not even 2 truck lengths. I didn't even check to see what settings I had, what quality settings I had this thing on. Good morning, Flip. Good morning, sir. How the heck are you? Glad to see you popping in for a few minutes too. Here we are. We are on 285 West. Got to make my way around to Interstate 20 and head out west. I'm going back to Mississippi again. This is the same run I done the other day, the last live I done, and this is just earlier in the trip as far as the same route I did last time. I started that live. I was more into Alabama. So I'm kind of, even though it's a few days forward from that video, it's the same route. I'm just a little bit further back earlier where I'm at now. And I'm just past rush hour, so traffic's kind of actually not too dang bad. I'm impressed with the traffic around Atlanta right now. Never been to England. As a as an army brat, my dad was stationed in Frankfurt in the late 70s, and that's the first country I ever went to. I was like 3.5 then. I got pictures. That's how I remember it, is in the pictures. And the pictures were black and white. Imagine that. Color was an option back in the 70s for pictures, for those of us that know. And then years later, the next time I left the United States was when I joined the military, and after basic training in AIT, I was stationed in South Korea for a year. And man, let me tell you, learning about the South Koreans' heritage and the culture of their people, it's freaking amazing. And I made it a point that whole year I was there, when I had time off, to go visit museums and learn their history and their culture. I even tried to learn the language. I can make small greetings in Korean. Well, their official language is called Hangul, but like for instance, hello, uns 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요 is a proper greeting in their language, and chomaneo is thank you. I think it's thank you or you're welcome. And 감사합니다, 감사합니다 is either thank you or you're welcome. That's about all I know. I know about those three words just to get me by. That's all I remember. Oh, really? Toga dropping history lessons. I didn't realize that. I got to study some more. Good morning, Mr. Dean. No, you good, dude. I just wanted to show people some travels around Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. Not that it's any fun. It's not bad this morning. I should really try to hit a rush hour for y'all one time, even though it'll be painful on my end. But yeah, I appreciate you joining in and enjoy you. Be safe and enjoy your ride to work and have a good day, man. Be looking for the next one you put out. Here in a couple miles, I'll be at my dang exit to get on Interstate 20 to be a left exit. And in the state of Georgia, we're we're starting to see a lot more roundabouts off of inter, interchanges, off of interstates on the side roads. They're putting more and more roundabouts in to keep traffic flowing. Even off in the middle of nowhere in rural Georgia and in farm country on 2-lane roads. We're finally catching up to how the British have been doing it for years and years and years. Yeah, these trucks are a mile ahead of being in that left lane. And we only get we're only allowed in the left lane and right up here at this next sign. Well, right here, ahead of this next sign. Now we're allowed in all left lanes, all lanes. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Woohoo! Regular everyday occurrence around these parts. But yeah, I'm trying to watch the chat and all too. Once I get on 20 and get out away from the loop here, it'll be a little bit more peaceful and a little less stressful. This morning's ride hadn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. But like I mentioned in Sterling's live stream last night when I was on with him, and Sterling, when you see this, I appreciate you letting me crash your show yesterday evening, even though I didn't bring much value to it. More humor, my ugly mug. But yeah, see how that little car just cut over? I mean, the ramp's right here. And I know on camera it looks like that car, there's a truck length between me and that car, a semi truck length, but there's not really. I mean, like I said, the things in the objects in the camera are actually closer than they appear. It's a pretty treacherous ramp to hit at more than 45 mile an hour too. Because not only does it have a curve, it has an uphill sweep. and then it merges. You got traffic coming off the south side of 285 on that right lane, try to get out 20 west. And then up here at the top of this next hill is Fulton Industrial Boulevard, which this right lane you see here with this traffic in it, it comes down to this lane before that exit, and then this lane turns into the exit only for the next interchange. And it don't look like it on camera, but this is an uphill pull for those of you that don't know. And speaking of which, I think this neck of the woods, yeah, the road's that rough, even though it don't look like it. I think this neck of the woods is where Nomadic Brick calls home. I think he may be out here just a little ways, a few miles out of town here. Wish I could show you my mirrors. See how this lane now, it, woo-hoo-hoo, feels like we're riding on a waterbed. There, let me pick it up off the dash for a minute. Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug. Like I said, this is uphill. You can see the top of the hill where the cars start going back down the other side. Yeah, what is this? Welcome to Atlanta, brother trucker. Yeah, I started this after Dewana's live dropped off, after she got off her live a few minutes ago, right as I was getting on to 285. And hell, I made it around Atlanta in 30 minutes this morning. Of course, it's just after rush hour here. I was hoping Brian would chime in, and because I know how much, we all know how much he loves Atlanta when I mention I'm anywhere close to Atlanta when he's on his live streams or I'm commenting or whatever. But after much encouragement by a fellow scoundrel, not that I'm trying to make more of a presence on YouTube, you guys are wanting to know and want to see more, and I got content. I just got to have the ambition. One, what was it? One live stream a few days ago. I don't remember whose live stream it was. We were talking about that proverbial door in front of you, and I got to start practicing what I preach, because we all have a chance and an opportunity when we see something ahead of us, whether we want to grasp that opportunity or not. And if we don't grab the knob and open the door and at least take a peek, we won't never know what's on the other side. So in keeping spirit with it, I gotta free up data on my phone, so why not put videos together and get them deleted off my phone? I know it sounds familiar to one of our fellow constituents, but that's not the biggest problem in the world we could all have. I mean, everything's going digital these days. But physical stuff is so much harder to store. Oh, Six Flags is off this exit, by the way. Fun fact about Six Flags. My first wife and I, it was a part of our honeymoon back in 1991. Y'all hear him? Did y'all hear him in my headset when he went by? Like a Ninja 600. It didn't look like a real big one. It didn't look like 1,000. He was moving as we make our way out on Interstate 20 West here. Yeah. This part of Georgia is in the bottom edge of the Appalachian Trail, the Appalachian Mountains, for those that don't know. Even though the video looks like it's all flat ground. That's one thing I don't like about video. It really can't show you terrain, especially when you're just on a phone and not, you know, millions and millions of high dollar equipment. Pop a top if you got one. I'm getting on down the road, and appreciate y'all tuning in and chiming in. See, I do not speed. I do not break the law. I'm in the right lane, 55 mile an hour, and in 60-mile-an-hour zone, because it don't pick up 70 till out here past Thornton Road, the next exit. Being a good little boy, because I never know what these idiots are going to do. And we were talking about that in the live stream yesterday with Sterling, that we spend 90% of our time out here watching our surroundings to keep people from hitting us. And part of my headaches come from me having to keep my head on a swivel so much. It's not because I drink too much caffeine, although I could cut back a little bit, honestly. That's probably why I'm not resting good at night. But, oh shit, wait. My demons won't let me sleep. But I'm glad that we can bounce around from one YouTuber to another and continue on with our fellowship and our journey together, because we all bring something different to the table. That's what makes it interesting. You never know what's going to show up, or never know who's going to show up. And see, now I'm up to 70 because the speed limit's 70, and you notice traffic's just leaving me in the dust. Kind of a gloomy day outside, even though it looks a little brighter on the phone. There's a little bit of overcast, a little bit of a breeze. But yeah, these interstates are the equivalent to the old wagon trails in the wild, wild west. Now, the hooligan duct tape community. Well, I uh, I ain't got my phone duct taped, but I got duct tape. I need it. I got zip ties. Oh, and I even got silicone. I got I got orange. I got clear, and I got black for its prospective application. I think I even got a little tube of JB Weld just for the S and G's, and we all know what the S and G's are. I try not to cuss too much, even though I'm not monetized and I don't ever care to be. I figured I'd bring y'all along, seeing as how I was in the what we call the arm, well, the butthole of Georgia. And we'll get over here, out of the way, because one thing I will say, my truck ain't scared of a hill, but I don't want to be in the way with a full load in the wrong lane. But I hope you guys are enjoying not just me sharing my driving, but everybody else that's doing it too. Because when I ain't got mine rolling, somebody else does. So there's always plenty for us to watch. I heard a fun fact on the YouTube creators page. For every minute that goes by in the world, ticking away to their servers is 33,000 hours of footage being uploaded to YouTube every minute across the world. Statistics like that just blow my mind. Because we're just one small part of the equation. But yet one person can make a difference. And they may not ever realize it. And if for some reason, I know there's a few folks before in the past that's taken my advice, but I highly advise against taking my advice. I am no shining example by no means. I just like to ramble. I got nothing else better to do. And and, and we all find our paths to each other in the oddest ways. Just like that video I premiered this morning. I'll give you guys that are watching a little bit more backstory to that because I really didn't do the greatest job in the video, filling in the backstory of how I actually came in contact with riding fish. I mentioned a mutual friend of ours in previous videos. I never did put out any footage of actually him meeting because I wasn't about bragging on myself about this and that and other. But August of 22, I had me and some friends of ours locally that ride together. We had put together a benefit ride to raise money for Folds of Honor. It was a dual charity event. It was for half of the funds would benefit for Folds of Honor, and the other half would benefit my mother-in-law at the time because she's on Medicaid, Social Security, and she's on a limited income, and she needed a mobility scooter. She didn't qualify for it under Medicaid, Medicare. So I brought my riding community together with some other folks that I ride close friends that ride with me. I'm not an MC or a RC or anything like that. And I didn't do a whole lot of publicity on it myself. I let other folks handle that. A couple months before the event, I put it out there on my community post that it was coming up, but then other folks had put it out too, and folks I had met through YouTube. A couple of guys they had graciously volunteered their time to come from their homes. One came from Central Florida, one came from Alabama, and they way bigger on YouTube than I ever want to be. But they live close enough that they've actually stayed in touch and became friends behind the scenes. And Brandon Picasso, the mutual friend, well, him and Brian Remington would ride with two Indians. They both became friends with Fred and riding fish. Fred Fisher. He he started a YouTube channel not long. Let's see, it was 2019, and he had a victory, and he was looking to start his YouTube channel, and he started documenting the first Indian he bought. And I had my chieftain at the time, and through Brandon, I got connected with Fred. Now Fred's blowed up real big, and what he's doing and gaining traction on his channel. And it's not to bring attention to his channel so much as it's the story that goes on behind the scenes. And when I decided to sell my Chieftain, my big bagger, because my wife was wanting to start to learn to ride on her own, and my daughter was expressing an interest. This was 2020, 2021. So it took a year or two to gradually for them to progress into the, taking their baby steps. Well, I had sold my Chieftain, and then I put that deposit down on that Chief in May of 2022. They had couldn't get the bike delivered, couldn't get the bikes were on pre-order, and it didn't get delivered till October of 22. We all know that story because I mentioned that already in the past. Well, Fred had reached out to me in a YouTube comment, and we exchanged phone numbers through our emails, and he mailed me a gift certificate for $500 off of the purchase of my Chief. So I got with a dealership in Charlotte, and they applied it towards the bike. And it's just people do stuff out of the goodness of their own heart, and I want to bring light to that because goodness compounds goodness, and if it's all a state of mind, we keep our mind focused towards a positive outcome, we're more likely to find it. If we dwell on like bad thoughts or anything, it's all a mindset because we can think something, we can be sick, or we can think something's going on with our body, and we think about it, and dwell on it, we'll start developing physical illnesses just because of what we were thinking about. And it's just it's weird how that manifestation comes about. Well, Mr. Riding on Ruby, I appreciate you coming in. Welcome in, Last Rider. Seems like when I go to talking motivational stuff, you show up. That's awesome. Glad to have you here because you are part of the journey too. Back that story, that story goes. That story could lean itself into a whole nother conversation. You're absolutely right about manifestation. It's it lends itself to history too. Manifest destiny. As far as the trek that our settlers made, the settlers made out west to expand this nation, looking for their own way. We're just the modern era of pioneers is what I call it, because we're out here blazing our own trails and hoping that those fires don't get too far out of control to where they're not manageable. But yeah, if you're just tuning in, Last Rider, I just came off of 285 around Atlanta, and I'm heading west on Interstate 20, headed back towards Mississippi again. Seems like I've been stuck in a loop the last couple of weeks on my runs, which is nice because it keeps me in the southeast. Other than the humidity's getting to be a little atrocious, but it's to be expected in the southeast. But I was talking about my time in Korea earlier. Since you're here, I'll go ahead and tell you around your neck of the woods in Virginia, and Mr. Dean, Mr. Motorbomb, Virginia, around y'all's neck of the woods, that part of the country has similar climate to what there is in Seoul, South Korea, as far as how the seasons go. Just for those who've never been overseas. But I will say something about the 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 mass transportation systems and stuff that they've got in place over there in South Korea. For those that don't know, the South Korean people haven't had access to mass transportation or vehicles and stuff as long as we have here in the States. About 60, 65 years is about all they've known about, you know, transit systems and highways and paved roads. But I can guarantee you this. Picture this. The city of Seoul and the city of Atlanta have the same geographical footprint, roughly. I mean, probably within a few hundred square miles, but they're roughly the same size geographically. There's about 4 million people that live in that in Atlanta. But in Seoul, South Korea, there's 12 million people that live in that same footprint. And no joke, no lie. No matter what time of day or night, you can get the way their transportation system is set up over there, whether it's by bus, by subway, by taxi, even in the cars. You can get from one side of Seoul, South Korea to the other in the middle of rush hour in 30 minutes. You try that crap in Atlanta, Georgia, it takes you 2.5 hours just to get halfway around Atlanta in rush hour. So that tells me right there just that how how backwards we are in our thinking when we're in a vehicle. We are wanting to get mad at everybody around us when they cut us off or they act like jerks and this, that, and the other because they're preoccupied with their own life and, oh, I got to be first, that mentality and stuff. That's the difference in the cultures. Everybody over there flows together. I mean, the, they it's really hard to put into words, but when you see people merging together and moving together and not on the brakes and they're keeping their lives moving and they don't get mad if somebody cuts them off because they're not really cutting each other off, they're just trying to keep the traffic flowing. And that's a good symbolism for daily life, in an office setting or in a warehouse setting or whatever setting you're in for your line of work. Well, if it's not sticking to you, Sterling, and uh, you might be okay. But the cool thing about getting all this out is I'm not sitting here just thinking. Because that's one thing we got a lot of time to do when we hold this steering wheel. And yeah, it may look like I may have a middle lane magnet shoved up my ass right now. I don't. Try to pay attention to the road because this right lane is an exit only here in a mile. So there's really no point in me getting over to the right out of the way of the flow of traffic just to get right back over in another mile. And what's crazy is Georgia said, see that sign? Trucks over 6 wheels must use 2 right lanes. And this right lane's fixing to end. I've been a big proponent, especially around these big cities where all these signs, no trucks left, 2 left lanes, no trucks, 3 left lanes, blah, blah, blah. If you're passing through a city and you're not having to deliver in the city, should have the ability to use the left lane as a thoroughfare. That's just me. because cars are going to be in and out. They can maneuver quicker than we can. And us truck drivers, we know that. That's just my little bit of useless knowledge for the moment. Yeah, I got to work on a meta mount. I know. I done said it 100 times. I'll beat that horse to death. It'll come back to life. My mount ain't the best mount in the world. Don't use a steely mount on the back of your phone in the windshield. Note to self. Note to everybody watching. Because even if you had it mounted dead center of your phone, the way it's set up on the mount is still going to gradually swoop up. Thinking is subjective, Sterling. You know that. I try not to think too hard. I pull enough muscles getting up out of bed every morning. And no, I'm not speeding, fellas. I'm doing 70 miles an hour. Most guys are restricted to 62, 64, 68. What is it? I was watching this young lady. I can't think of her channel name or nothing, but I'm not subscribed to her. But she's just started putting out videos for. She's went to work for Prime, pulling a food grade tanker, and she talks about how the trucks are set at 68 mile an hour top speed, but then the cruise is only set at 62. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of sounds counterintuitive, but I guess you can use the throttle between 62 and 68 if you come upon somebody slower, but who are you really going to pass at 62 mile an hour? I mean, oh yeah, yeah. These are Georgia pines. They're 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 not they're not the pines in the northeast. I'm northwest rather. These might get 50, 60 feet tall here. Good question, Last Rider. Good question. Maintenance I've done on the truck this year. Had to replace the city horn. Had to replace the alternator on the APU. Of course, regular maintenance. You know, service intervals on the oil filters and the air filters and the fuel filters. Not many. I mean, just wear and tear stuff. It's not really been as bad as it has been. I mean, earlier in the year, I did have an issue where I was throwing a transmission fault code. And turns out what that was a relay under the hood, and it was tied into the starter interrupt. And somehow or another, it was tied into however the wiring works in these trucks. I'm not no electrician, but it was giving me a transmission fault with the relay for the starter. And it was a $5 relay. So I got lucky on that part. And what else have I done? Not really much, just normal maintenance. So luckily, everything I had done last year, which we all pretty much remember, you know, the engine going bye-bye on Valentine's Day last year and leaving the chat. Then in June, the turbo and all that. Of course, that was to be expected because I couldn't afford at the time when I was having the in frame done. It wasn't in the budget for me to go. I didn't think it was in the budget for me to go, you know, full engine replacement. And I should have. I should have sprung for the extra 15, 16 grand and just went for a full crate drop in. because it would have wound up doing me better because I'd have had full warranty on every component. When you do an in-frame on an engine, for those that don't drive a truck, in-frame means internal components. It doesn't mean anything hanging off the engine. It doesn't mean turbo. It doesn't mean EGR. It doesn't mean alternator, power steering, water pump, air-to-air, intercooler, nothing. It don't mean none of that. It means rods, pistons. In my case, a new head with all new components. So everything on the inside that you can't see. Plus, I had replaced all the injectors while it was out, and about the next thing on my list is another PM's coming due in about another 2,200 miles. So probably the middle of next week, if that far. It may be Monday or Tuesday before I need to get the routine maintenance done again, and I'll get a transmission service done then because it'll be close to its due date. Not according to the manufacturer. It's just I try to do mine a little bit ahead of schedule, being that it's a 2017. I mean, I got to stay on top of it because our equipment's no more reliable than we spend time keeping it up. And not just for say maintenance on our personal vehicles, no matter what they are, or our lawnmowers, or our weed eaters. My first year, oh, my first year mileage, first year I done from March of 22 to December of 22. I actually turned some pretty decent miles. I turned right at 100,000 miles and missed the 2.5 months of the first 2.5 months of the year. I just got to bypass at this way station. Thank God for the signs. Last year, with everything, the engine going down last year, and then my sister-in-law passing away, then a good friend of ours, she passed away, then of course my wife passed away in July, right after I got the truck out of the shop, not long after I got the truck out of the shop from the turbo and the all. It was about, what did I figure? It was right at 75,000 miles, and I only worked maybe a total of 7 months last year. Welcome in 24. This is this is South Georgia. Well, not South Georgia. This is Interstate 20 West out of Atlanta. I'm heading towards the Alabama state line. I'll have to plug my phone in soon, and the way it is mounted here, I won't be able to get the phone plugged into the bottom of it. So I recovered quite nicely when I was back to work. I did. I think I turned pretty. Turned pretty good, okay miles, but I try to average when I am running. I try to average at least 10,000 miles a month. That's 2,500 miles a week. And if I can shoot for at least 2,500 miles, I'm good on everything. I can pay myself. I can put a little bit back, and and manage it. Anything over that, it goes in the rainy day fund, because having your own truck and being an owner operator, as Sterling will tell you, Wilburn will tell you, and a lot of these other guys that we follow that have their own trucks, they'll tell you, you never know when something's going to go south. You always have to plan for a rainy day. Plan for the best, hope for the worst. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Because as y'all know, Murphy's Law has been on me pretty hard, and not just me, a lot of us in here. But we've stuck together. We've got through it. And this road is concrete. It's not asphalt. But I've been at it just a little over an hour, and I don't want to keep you good folks away from what you got going on. But back to you for a second, last rider. You want me to? You mentioned in that comment on the video that I premiered this morning that you want to see more walk around on my bike and startups and revs and maintenance and stuff. I'll do that. But I got a question for you. I want to see your gym workout videos and maybe your progression with that. I think we could all use a break from the norm between trucks and motorcycles. Because a healthy mind will bring a healthy body, and the two have to work together. You can't have one without the other. And we all know we could use a little bit more of that every day. I'm gonna quit fighting with this mount now. And I bid you all a good day, and I'll see y'all soon. And I'm not trying to pull the plug unexpectedly, but now I'm going to turn the lights on because it's starting to sprinkle, even though it ain't showing on the screen. And y'all know what happens when it first starts raining. Got to be a little bit more mindful of the conditions of the road, because what happens in the first couple of minutes of the rain? It's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous time of a rainstorm, even in a truck. You don't have to be just on a motorcycle. Peace out, guys. I don't know when I'll go live again. You know me. Randomness is my go-to. But appreciate y'all tuning in. And we will leave y'all with that. 9 miles from the Alabama state line. So that's about where I started my last live. So I kind of completed this segment of this trip. Almost. But hey, sometimes almost to get you there. Be safe, guys. See y'all around.